you should really work to make the most of Zoom, be highly, highly, highly communicative. Like, I think the best thing you can do being remote is to just communicate all the time. Huge shout out to Omega Accounting Solutions. They are our partner. They make Work Like a Girl possible. What's awesome about Omega Accounting Solutions is that they take care of that very thing you don't want to take care of, which is your accounting. So they understand your books. They'll help you get every tax credit imaginable that you qualify for. They'll help you understand your finances, and they'll make it possible for you to run your small business without having to worry about your financial solutions. If you call 1-800-704-2000, you can learn more, or you can go to omegataxcredits.com.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
What's your name?
This is McKenna.
Hi, McKenna. How you doing?
Oh, I'm great. I actually just got to my hotel in Chicago for a trade show.
Well, that's exciting.
Yes, I'm glad I could make the call.
Awesome. What kind of trade show?
It's a printing trade show. So my company sells big industrial printers.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I do the post-sales coordination for it.
Okay, that's awesome. What's going on?
So, just a little background on me. I just graduated from college in 2021, so I've been at this company for about a year now, doing that post-sales coordination and a little bit of account management. So I've actually asked my boss to potentially be able to work remotely for a year, basically next year, so that I can kind of test drive out different cities. I'm from Rochester, New York, and I've been there my whole life, so I kind of wanted to branch out and try a few different cities and see if there's one I like and that I can move to permanently.
Okay.
So my question for you is, if I end up working remotely, if my boss ends up saying yes, how do I keep growing in my career while working remotely and, stay connected with the office in Rochester and still be a valuable employee?
All right. So one is great for you wanting to get out of the, city you grew up in. I think that's awesome. Life is short, so you should live in as many places as possible, or at least get a flavor for a couple different places. I think, look, let's face it, not being in the office puts you at a disadvantage, especially if the rest of your company is in person. It's just a fact. So, I think for you to really keep your career going is, maybe you stay, if this company lets you work from home, maybe you stay with them for another year. But after that year, maybe you find a new company in the city that you're living in. Or, maybe it takes you a couple cities to figure out the right place. But in general, try to, you'll want to, if you're really ambitious about your career, you probably want to be in a place where you can have some face-to-face with other people. Now, that said, obviously the internet makes anything possible. You can get a lot done over Zoom. You can fly in, right. You can travel. It just becomes a little bit exhausting just having done that. Like, I worked a lot at companies on the West Coast, and I was like, I can make that work from the East Coast to the West Coast, and it's just hard. And I think it just kind of takes a toll on you. One, because you're in your head and you're like, I have to overcompensate because I'm not in the office. And then two, you have a little bit of FOMO because you're not in the office. And then three, you're probably like hauling like a suitcase and you like forgot your toothbrush or a hairbrush. It's like a pain in the ass to travel. So what I would say is, look, go for it. Hopefully your boss says yes. If your boss says yes, you're like, thank you so much. And then you should really work to make the most of Zoom, be highly, highly, highly communicative. Like, I think the best thing you can do being remote is to just communicate all the time. Like, I used to do this before, like Slack and all those resources. Like, be sure that every day you're Slacking almost everyone you work with closely so they don't forget about you. Send more emails than you normally would. You've got to compensate for the fact that like you're not going to have the drive-by hallway conversation. And so long as you can do that virtually, like you'll be great. And then what I would do is, go find your new city and see if there's an account management job, a post-sales job in a, related industry, or frankly, even a new industry. And then, that way you can at least have some in person and maybe some remote, or whatever that might look like. And I think that will set you up really well for your career.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we actually have all of our sales reps that I work with are all over the country. So I kind of already work remotely with them.
Perfect.
And also our customers. So I'm hoping that can help me persuade my boss.
Definitely. And you might want to follow up with your boss after your conversation and just be convincing about it, which is, look, here's how I'm going to do this. I already work with all these people remotely. I'm going to come back to Rochester once a month or once every, 6 weeks or whatever that is. I commit to this level of, whatever you need to do, check-ins, emails, progress reports, whatever. And see if she or he says yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to put together a plan, hopefully, and get it done.
Get it done. It's awesome.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Erika.
Okay.
Talking to you.
Thank you. Have a great day. Okay. Shady Rays. I love Shady Rays. I cleaned out my bag this week, and I had about 15 different sunglass cases in the bag with not one pair of sunglasses in them. So I love Shady Rays. These are my Shady Rays. Who doesn't love Shady Rays? What's awesome is they don't break the bank, so you can affordably buy a pair of sunglasses. They're highly durable. You can sit on them. You can throw them in your car. Your kids can play with them. You can leave them in your jacket pocket, whatever. They're going to make it through. If you lose a pair or you break a pair, they'll send you a brand new one. This is like the old LL Bean boot. Like if you broke your LL Bean boots, you got a new one. That doesn't happen anymore. With Shady Rays, it still does. So go to shadyrays.com and use code TOKEN, and you can get 50% off 2+ pairs of Polaroid sunglasses. That's shadyrays.com, SHADYRAYS.com, code TOKEN, 50% off 2 pairs or more. First of all, we're on air with somebody. Who's with us right now?
Hey, this is Jason. Hey, Erika, how's it going today?
All right, Jason, hit us.
All right, so about 20 years ago, I started working full-time in sports, broadcasting, print media, all that sort of stuff. And I did that as my career for about 10, 12 years.
Okay.
And then ultimately, was banging around, just really couldn't make what I would consider a full living out of it. I mean, financially, it wasn't where I wanted to be. So.
Yep.
Got out of it, got into a career that I love right now. But I've just got this urge to do something. And what I covered 20 years ago was small college sports, super small college sports. And the problem I'm having is I look at how everything is done now, and it just seems so overwhelming to get in. You've got the podcast, you've got the written side of it, you've got video blogs, you've got all the social media that goes with it. And I want to dip my toe back in the water to get back into covering some small college athletics, but I don't really know what avenue I should go through, where I'm going to get the most bang for my time, because I'm not going to get back into this full time, but it's something I want to.
Yeah, it's your passion.
I don't know if I should be. Yeah, but I don't know if it should be a podcast, if it should be a video blog, if it should be just a written blog on what's going on, and if you had any insight as to what kind of the best course of action is for that now.
Yeah, totally. So I think what I would do is, one, I love this. I think this is cool. I think there's so many stories in small college athletics, to be honest with you, that are just not covered. So I love the concept overall, and I think it's great to have a passion project. If I were in your shoes, and this is just me, I would not do a podcast. I think there's like a bajillion podcasts. It's a pain in the ass to produce. There's so much clutter. It's the discoverability is, I think it's just harder for discoverability. I think if you're passionate about small college athletics, I might create a Substack, right? Like I just might create a blog where you're blogging about small college athletics. The other thing you could do is kind of grow a presence on Twitter. I think Twitter is great for sports. I think Twitter is great for sports conversation. People would probably say the same thing about TikTok. But, even if you're, I don't know, like I went to Colby College, you're covering the Colby College field hockey team, which I will tell you was not a scintillating read. But you could live tweet the games. It's like you could you could promote your blog on Twitter. Like, I think what would be so cool is if you could get a small, passionate follower group who's interested in small college athletics, right? There used to be Rivals. I think rivals.com did this. I don't even know if they still exist, but you might want to look at that. But I would really try writing. I think writing in some ways is way easier and way harder than podcasting or video, but it's also way more distributable and way more digestible, right? Like, somebody can read a blog in a minute or 5 minutes or 2 minutes. They may not want to listen to an hour-long podcast, but they would be interested in a tweet that points them to, really some smart analysis about college sports.
No, okay, I get that. And I think it makes a lot of sense. Fortunately, I still have a little bit of a following from, what I did 10, 15 years ago, where I think getting back into the writing would be probably the best avenue, as you mentioned there. I didn't know scalability, if there was one that was, moving a little faster than the others.
I mean, TikTok is moving faster than everybody else. So I think if you really want discovery and you're captivating on video, you'd want to do TikTok. And if I were to say you were to do two things, I would do a blog or a newsletter, and then I would make TikToks.
Excellent. That's great.
Awesome. Have a great day.
Let's go. I'm never going to have a better call than this. Hello.
Oh my gosh, I got
You got big. You cannot be a pushover. Nobody is going to respect you. We got to get going on that. Be comfortable when you're 6. That's creepy. You're also stunting your life. I don't know if that was helpful.